Y ahora está con nosotros Miro Polakovic, él es Advanced Security Architecture de Latam y nos va a platicar sobre la colaboración y la seguridad que hay entre este tema y Cisco Spark. Hi Miro, how are you?
Hola, I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Yeah, fine. Please tell us about how secure is Cisco Spark and the Cisco Collaboration platform.
So if you're talking about security and collaboration platform, you have to think about how we build it. And we build it from the beginning with security in mind, right? So it is very secure. We took a very careful consideration between delivering the balance between like the public type application, like WhatsApp, for example, where everything is very secure and you have no control. As an enterprise, you need to have some level of control as well, right? And so what we build into it is a really great balance of both. So you have really great security features. Everything we do on a platform is encrypted. The data is stored encrypted. But we also build a possibility onto a platform where the enterprise can go and control it. And so we have integration to DLP services. We have e-discovery features. And so IT can manage it. They can have a view what the users are doing so they can keep a control and at the same time keeping the application very, very secure.
Is everything deployed in the cloud?
So when you look at our deployment model, not everything could be deployed in the cloud, right? We wish that we can go fully all the way in the cloud. However, we also build the architecture such that we have different realms of separation within the product, right? Between the platform as well. And so when you look at our data centers, we have the data stored in one area, which is separate from identity services, for example, which is also separated from the security realm, where we have the key management server, which provides all the encryption keys and stuff. We also have e-discovery services and indexing services. All of these are built in the cloud. However, with the new features and new releases, we now have the option to place it on premise. And so now you have these hybrid type services where customers have a protection of us having the data fully encrypted in the cloud, but also they can have a peace of mind where they keep the encryption keys on premise. And so the security is kind of in a hybrid mode where the data are stored encrypted, but the customers have a full control over the encryption keys.
And well, data and user ID, it's very important. So how do you protect user data and identity when you use Spark?
So when you look at collaboration platform and you look at our product, Cisco Spark, when we operate, there are messages flowing between the application and the server, backend server, right? So first of all, everything flies over in encrypted pipes. We're using a TLS for encryption between the client and the services. But within the data itself, we rarely use a user identification. So when it comes to using the user data, we obfuscate the user information. What that means is that we actually hide it. So if somebody would intercept the communication between the clients and the communication between the servers on the backend within our platform, all they would see is a special string of numbers and letters, and that wouldn't have any meaning for them. So if they're looking for Aura and Miro conversation, right, all they're going to see is just numbers. They're not going to see your actual name. So we hide that information from the visibility to services and integrations.
And can Cisco Spark prevent data loss from an enterprise?
So this is another great way of us protecting the data in the cloud. What we've built into a system, we built an APIs which we can integrate with the third parties, and also one of ours. So what we can provide is the data loss protection service with our Cloud Lock solution, or we can go to third parties such as Symantec or others. And that allows us to provide integration where some third-party service is monitoring the data, is monitoring what the user is sending out, what type of data, so if it's maybe credit card numbers or maybe some personal information or health information when it comes to the health sector, right? And those services then intercept those messages and allows us to remove those messages and send a notification to IT department, and so the IT department can take actions and notify the users, hey, slap their hands, no, you cannot do this, right?
Well, in this Cisco Live, cybersecurity has been a topic, and we're talking about data, how to protect it, and encryption. So what will be your advice regarding these topics?
The advice is that you have to do lots of training, especially for the end user, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we don't care.
It doesn't, exactly. It doesn't matter how secure you make it, right? It's up to the end user to take that yellow sticky post and write the password on that yellow sticky post and post it somewhere, right? So it needs to start with education, obviously. And then so education on both sides, education on the user side, and then also education within the IT departments and deploying the latest technologies where we're using the latest encryption technologies so data are protected and stored encrypted. Using the latest authentication technologies, implementing, for example, single sign-on. So when you have multiple applications, or if you have APIs which are accessing applications from different ends, you don't have to always have a password, or you can have unified passwords so the users don't have to remember 16 different passwords, right? So it's a kind of a good blend of doing the IT deployments, education with the IT deployments, and deploying the latest, greatest technology, enabling single sign-on technology, working with the IDPs and having a password off cloud, stored on-premise securely, as well as the combination of educating the user base and telling them how to store the password, where not to put their passwords, and putting up the policies for refreshing the passwords and things like that.
We're talking about setting passwords, and I think we're going to migrate some way, somehow in facial recognition and a lot of other technologies. So earlier I told you, like, yeah, we don't care because we have to care about our data and our information, but new generations maybe don't care. So do you think technology is going to evolve for that generation or generation? I mean, we're talking about education, but sometimes the end user and the clients don't use their rules and their norms. Mm-hmm. So do you think at some point technology will need to create all this space around the end user and the clients instead of what's better for the end user?
I think so, that we already seen that, right? If you look at the latest technology on mobile devices, whatever that's Android on iPhone or anything else, right? You have the fingerprint type recognition, so I don't have to type in my password on my phone. I can just use the fingerprint, right? Latest Android and iOS as well has the facial recognition. So if I'm looking at the phone is smart enough to know that it's me, right? And so we see it happening in the consumer base already, and I think moving forward, you're going to see this be transferred into enterprise. The differences are that it is a lot easier to do it with the consumer base because you're managing with that one user, and that one user has an option, and there is no policy. You make your own policy, okay, right?
Right.
And when it comes to enterprise, you have to adhere to enterprise policy, which may be, extended. And a lot of times, it takes time to review those policies, have the architects work on that, making sure the lawyers are okay with it. So it's a longer process, and because of that, it's not so much of a technology hang-up, I would say. And a lot of time it's a process and legal issues, things that are preventing some of these consumer type-based applications get straight into enterprise.
Well, Miro, thank you very much for your time. Would you like to add something else?
No, I think, I like being here. Thank you for having me. So thank you for being able to speak here. And I would like to invite attendees here to our booth, obviously to a show floor, and also I have a couple more sessions on security coming up, especially on the single sign-on tomorrow, and on Spark, Cisco Spark security on Thursday. So feel free to join us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pues si están por aquí en Cancún, dense una vuelta al booth de Miro Polakovic. Se ve muy interesante el tema y va a ser más interesante verlo en vivo. Si no están aquí, no se preocupen. Probablemente debe haber algún video por ahí en la página de Cisco en internet. Nosotros continuamos y recuerden que estamos transmitiendo desde Cancún.